Well, listen, Bill, I mean, as I'm going through your accomplishments, you're appointed by Bill Clinton to the National Endowment of Humanities. You got a Lifetime Achievement Tribute from the Directors Guild of America. Both on the acting side and the directing side, I think you've done phenomenal work.
Thank you. Thank you.
And, you did it with dignity. You did it with self-respect. You tackled a lot of social issues that other people would not have done. And I think that the legacy that you've left is amazing. And I think that the most interesting part, and you've talked about this in other interviews, is that, you still love what you do. You wake up every morning, you can't wait to get to work. You said something interesting in this other interview where most people, when they get confronted between making a choice between happiness and stability, most people will take stability. But you actually went the other way.
Yes. I came up in a family of hardworking people who appreciated the dollars that they made from their work, but hated their jobs. Mm-hmm. And they would retire and were dead within 5 to 10 years. And I saw the pain of that. I had uncles who were musicians and singers and stuff. But in those days, it was hard for them, and they didn't have the faith in themselves to continue against the obstacles that they faced. But some of the best voices I've ever heard, some of the best comedy I've ever heard was in my family. But I didn't want that to happen. I wanted to take the chances. And that's what I talk about in my autobiography, my 40 years behind and in front of the camera. I respect all the people who provide for their families, send their kids to college, pay for their homes, insurance, retirement. There's a security in that. But financial and social and security in a social platform does not fill all the vacuums we have inside. I have some friends that are very wealthy and very unhappy at the same time. So it's about finding that balance. How do you live a life of fulfillment where you literally, when you wake up in the morning, you want to go to work because you love what you do.
Yeah.
And you're people like yourself, you love what you do. You have a passion.
Yeah, it's obvious.
Yeah, and so do I. And you pay a price for that. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, the reward is far beyond the price you pay. And so I try to encourage people in my book to, for example, I talk about the business of Hollywood. I mean, I have a foundation, the Duke Media Foundation, and a lot of the kids come in there with passion. They want to be in the business. But we teach them the business. We teach them, okay, you want to be an actor, you want to be a director, you want to be a writer. That's all good. But do you understand the craft of those things? And do you understand the business of Hollywood? Because those of us who didn't understand the business coming in were damaged because we just were passionate. Passion without a plan is called frustration. So we try to give that back, but it's a rewarding business, but as you know, difficult also.
It is. But in 2018, going into 2019, you have more opportunities than ever before to not only create your own content, but own your own content. And I say this a lot. The reason why I started VladTV is because I just realized that no one else was going to put me on. I just was not going to get any chances from anybody. I got, Hollywood, even to this day, as established as we are, I've had so many talks about TV deals and so forth, and none of them have come, you know, have turned into anything. But it doesn't matter because I own all my own content. I create it all, and it really doesn't matter. I've done a great business that I could support my family with and so forth. But don't wait for anyone to put you on. Not in 2018. Put it out yourself. You know, you mentioned people have created movies using iPhones. People have become YouTube stars.
I just worked on one with Steven. I mean, what you're saying is so encouraging because what you're saying is don't wait for Hollywood to discover you. Discover yourself. Mm-hmm. I mean, there are examples. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's been, what, 10 years, right? Start off as webisodes.
Yep.
Issa Rae has a big deal with HBO. Yep,
she started out on YouTube.
You know what I'm saying? So you really don't. I mean, I acted in the film in New York this year with Steven Soderbergh. He shot the entire feature film. It's called High Flying Bird, with 4 or 5 iPhone 8s. There was no big lighting crew. He was mostly available light. And one of the funniest things was there was no dolly track or dolly. When he did dolly shots, they rolled him around in the wheelchair. And he used to eat dinner, and go edit the footage that night that he shot.
Yep.
So the thing is, what you're saying is profound in the sense that I had this young actress recently who came to me for advice, and she had just spent, I think, $1,700 or more on pictures. And I said, well, he's a famous photographer. I said, okay, if you're a casting director, you think the casting director will see your picture or something you've acted in? She said, something I've acted in. I said, are you taking acting classes? She says, yes, for the last 4 or 5 years. I said, did you ever film any of the scenes that you did with your acting partners? She said, no. But that changed her way of thinking about how to present herself because she's waiting to be discovered. I just think that today, there was no internet when I came along. There were no cell phones. I remember the first cell phone, the sucker was this big.
Right, the brick phone.
The brick phone.
I remember that.
You know?
Yeah.
And so kids today, I mean, all of us today have opportunities not only for the creation of content, but the distribution.
Yep.
You go global with a push of a button.
Exactly.
Does that make any sense?
Exactly. We do, like, we had a record month last month on VladTV, on our YouTube channel. We had 53 million views in 1 month.
Wow.
We do roughly 2 million a day, give or take a couple 100,000. 53 million people watched these videos that we created, that we put out with no network, we own everything. And I think for me, the most important thing is that I got tired of presenting my ideas and having people tell me whether or not they wanted to co-sign them. I get to interview, and that's the thing. I get to wake up every morning and I think, who do I really want to talk to today? Bill Duke. I loved all these movies he did. I'm going to go ahead and talk to him because I want to do it and I'm going to put it out. And I think my audience will react to it, but if not, whatever. then the next day I'll go do someone else. You see what I'm saying? And I think that's so important, is the control, the ownership.
It's the future.
Yeah.
It's the future. And you're an example of that. I mean, how many TV shows that are on the air now, how many feature films that you know of have attracted 53 million eyeballs?
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
Just the business model itself.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that, and we try to give this to our kids in our foundation, that you can do it now, but we want you to learn the craft, so it's not just garbage, but you learn the craft of it, and then you have access today. Mm-hmm. I remember when I was coming along, and I talk to kids about this, they've never heard these two words, flatbed and a moviola. Because in those days, it was actually film. And when they say cutting film, you literally took a razor blade or scissors and cut the film and pasted it together, right? When you edited, right?
Yep.
I remember the first when George Lucas had the first digital machine. It blew our minds. So it's a totally different world and a totally different time, and we have to have our kids leverage that.
Absolutely. And if you ever want me to come talk to, the kids in your foundation, I'd be more than happy to.
I would love to.
Yeah. Bring in someone that's actually doing, some of the stuff you're talking about independently without any sort of financing or anything else like that. Yeah, I would love to present that to them.
Great. Thank you so much.
Let's do it. Bill Duke, man, thank you so much for coming through. Huge fan. I'm going to go watch Menace to Society after this. I've already interviewed Tyron Turner, who told me, the whole behind the scenes thing. But like I said, huge fan, man, and congratulations for all the work, both in front of the camera and behind the camera.
Thank you so much, man. Forgive my swollen lip from the dentist, but this was a great interview, great questions and insight, man. I really appreciate it. And I want to tell folks again, man, please go check my book out, Bill Duke, 40 Years in Front of and Behind the Camera. I think you'll find it's about my life and career, but also try to put some nuggets in there for young folks in terms of the business itself. The second thing I would say is Mandy. It's a film I'm in with Nicolas Cage. It's doing very, very well, and it's something I think that people will really, really like as I'm not a horror movie person, but it's gotten such play. It's got a 95% rating on positive rating on Rotten Tomato, and it's coming back out in the theaters. And so I'm just really fortunate to be working. And the last thing I would say, check me out on Black Lightning. It's a great show. It's a black action hero show, and
right.
It's on every Tuesday at 9 o'clock on CW, and it's something that I think people will like.
Yeah, I mean, I guess because they just announced that Luke Cage just got canceled.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Luke Cage just got canceled. They're actually in production for their third season, and Netflix just canceled it. So I guess Black Lightning is the only black superhero show left on television.
So far, so good.
Yeah, no doubt. Bill Duke, man, until next time.
God bless you, brother. Thank you, man. I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Peace.